more than 400,000 children and teens in the foster care system. Three 3% of foster children will attend college and graduate. Many children are put into foster care simply because their birth parents cannot take care of them. It is a temporary placement until they are adopted. Many foster systems are broken. Kids are bounced around from place to place, not knowing where they will end up. One in 5 children will become homeless after the age of 15. So, question 1. Could you tell me a little bit about what you do exactly and why you chose to work with foster care?
I work for Hennepin County and I'm a supervisor in the foster care licensing area. So I supervise 10 people that license homes for families for children that are in need of placement. I've worked in foster care for over 25 years. I just became a supervisor recently. So for the last 23 years, I've been in the field as a foster care licensing social worker. And that, more than my supervising duties, entails going out into homes, talking to people who are interested in becoming foster parents and helping them get licensed. It's also helping relatives because we try to place kids in with their relatives, getting them licensed. So it's inspecting their home to make sure they meet the requirements, the safety requirements that are required for all. It's making sure they get the required training, because there's training that has to be done for foster kids depending on their age. If they're young, you have to have car seat training, and if they're babies, you have to have SIDS training and things like that. Or if they have any medical condition, you'd have to have medical training for whatever that condition is. So they need their training. They also need training on how foster care works, what the regulations are and what's expected of them. And then once we get people licensed, foster care licensing workers support the foster parents throughout the process. They advocate for them, they interact with them with child protection and other parts of the agency, because foster homes are required to interact with guardian ad litems, school social workers, doctors, other social workers within the agency. So we're the person that's there as their advocate. Foster care doesn't have anything to do with placement. We don't have the say over where a child gets placed. That's a child protection decision. But our job is to make sure that where they place that child is a safe, stable housing, and it meets the needs of the child, and to continue to support that foster parent so they can meet the needs of the child. So both the child protection and foster care are working for the best interest of the child, but child protection is working directly with the child. We're working with the parents because we understand if you don't support the foster parents, they can't care for the children.
Right. Children are usually put into foster care because of abuse or neglect. "60% of males who age out of the foster system are convicted of a crime before age 24. One myth about fostering a child is that you have to be wealthy. You don't need a big shot job and make tons of money. As long as you can support yourself and the child, you can make it work." One way you can help is when you are older, consider fostering a child. If you want children, look into foster care first. Children are happier when they are wanted and loved. Foster parents play critical roles in helping change the lives of kids. They give these kids hope and a future. Another way is supporting a foster family. How, you might ask? Bring dinner over, make a home-cooked meal, and bring it over to them. Donation is key. Many children arrive with little to nothing. You could donate clothes, toys, or school supplies. Anything would help. Would you like to add any additional information or comments?
We, as foster parents, do a fabulous job for not just the children that they're helping, but for the community as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
They provide a safe haven for parents who are having a difficult time being parents, and they're not going to get better unless they get some help. The community is we're very appreciative of what they do for kids. I don't think that always gets said. You always hear in the news about the horror stories of the one time something went horrible, and not that anytime it should ever go horrible. We try to avoid that at all costs. But there are, any given time in Hennepin County, we've got 600 to 700 to 800 foster homes, and they're caring for 1,200 children. And, once every 5 years, there's a story in the news. So there's a lot of really great work that they do for these kids. They give them a safe haven. And many of them adopt these children if they cannot be returned to their parents. So they just don't give them a safe haven for a difficult period in their lives. They provide a forever family for these kids so that they can thrive and develop and be the best that they can possibly be. So it's a difficult job, a very difficult job.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're committed to kids, it's a great thing to see how these kids, maybe even after a few weeks of being uncontrollable, all of a sudden start doing well in school and taking pride in their appearance and making friends places where they never had, and you see them starting to just kind of thrive and develop and be comfortable with themselves. It's a very rewarding thing.